Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HQuest, and I am so excited to be here and push a spotlight onto what is undoubtedly one of the greatest updates to HQuestBuilder that has ever been updated, thanks to the wonderful, magnanimous, and legendary squidge monster. HQuestBuilder, which I'll go ahead and explain now, has the best update that I think it's ever had, and that's saying a lot because it doesn't have bad updates. All of the updates are awesome. They're all powerful. They're all really great and extend the capabilities of the tool even further. But if you are living in the timeline where you don't know what HQuestBuilder is, it is a browser app that you can access from any of your devices and pick up right where you left off. You can go ahead and use the pre-included library of both classic and contemporary assets to make your own completely customizable HeroQuest quest. It's never too far behind in terms of expansion graphics, so you have a ton of graphics to use and a lot of options for which expansions you want to include. You can take the quests and share them right here on the website. You have your own tags that you can apply for people to be able to search up quests that have that tag and they can find yours, or you can take the link and share it with other people directly so they can access and find your quest immediately. You can even save the quest into a PDF file so you have it offline. You can add it to a collection of other quests, upload them to sites like Itch. You can even collect them into campaigns. You can print them off and create your own physical quest books. That part's a little bit more tricky. We might jump on that topic later. It's an incredible tool that completely facilitates the spirit of the Homebrew community for HeroQuest, and as such, you already know it's very powerful. It also has integration with another browser app called HQuestMaster, which makes your quests run themselves with the quest down syntax. That's something we haven't really explored on the channel, but it is also a very powerful tool. But if you already know what HQuestBuilder and HQuestMaster are, none of that's going to be news to you. I'm here excitedly to share with you that finally we are able to escape the constraints of the HeroQuest board. That's right. One of the objectively best boards to ever exist for tabletop gaming, already nearly limitless in its options and flexibility, is now not the only board that we can access on HQuestBuilder. Yes, we now have, with just one click on the left side of your browser, access to the First Light board. And I can hear you already, half of you, about 50%, saying, Ash, that's so awesome. I gotta go sit down. I'm crying, screaming, First Light, how awesome, how amazing. I have practically doubled my already nigh infinite amount of quest ideas. This is going to provide such inspiration, so many options, and I can't wait to share my First Light quests with the world. The other 50% are raising their eyebrows. They're saying, Ash, it's just First Light. This is cool and all. I mean, it's a net positive. There's no complaints here. First Light board's okay, but I mean, hooray. Best update though? I don't think so. No, friends. That's only half of the update. A third of the update, actually. The First Light quest board, amazing as it is to be included here and give us some real options for homebrewing and sharing our First Light quests, is not the only update. And actually, it's not the one I'm most excited for. No, with just one more click, we can now access the blank HeroQuest board. This leads very nicely into the third part of this update, which is, if we scroll using the left-hand menu all the way down past all of the expansions to the Homebrew section right here, and we expand that and we look at our 30 slots of custom Homebrew icons, we can now add graphics for larger and or rotating tiles, which is a beta feature. If we select this option, we can customize the size of the room tile or entire map board that we can import into HQuestBuilder. Now that is news. Before we explore that, I just want to make it clear that even if you don't access any Homebrew graphics whatsoever, this blank board will absolutely enable you to take your room tiles that already exist and create modular quests using only those. So you can now create modular quests using just room tiles. You could kind of already do this if you were trying to blank out the whole board and then you could place your room tiles down in key places, but it wasn't practical and it was limited still. Now we have a blank board by default, and you can use all of the rooms from the expansions to just overlay in key spots and make your own quests. I know some of you have done this, so it's a lot of room tiles for the Frozen Horror. If you have 2 copies of the Frozen Horror, you can really make a crazy cold cave quest. Insane, but definitely a proper quest in its own right. But back to the Homebrew, and this is why this is so exciting. If you didn't know about the Homebrew feature, it allows you to directly link to an image. For example, something on Imgur or Imagebox, directly linking your own Homebrew icons. So you could have things that aren't official in your HeroQuest quest show up on your map and be available easily for you to use and sprinkle onto your map. And this could be anything like Skaven, Rat Ogres, Grey Seers, Gutter Runners, Giselle Teams, Clan Rats, Plague Bearers, Censor Bearers, same thing. Really just any Skaven you could possibly want. And I mean, I guess you could put other Homebrew monsters as well, but when you have the Skaven, what point is there of doing any of that? I'm not biased. Anybody can still access your quest if you are sharing it, and they will see those direct links pulling in those images. And if you are the one hosting the images on your website, or you were the one who uploaded the icons to a site like Imgur or what have you, you would be able to update those at any time, and possibly the links should be pointing to the same place. So the point of saying all that is to say that they should be dynamic. They're not seeing the images hosted on HQuestBuilder because HQuestBuilder doesn't host images for Homebrew. It just points to the direction of those images. And I kind of explain all of that to get a little bit of tutorializing out of the way, to explain the most exciting feature, the thing that I'm happiest about, the beta feature of adding a graphic for a larger and or rotating tile. Clicking this option expands this flyout menu to give you a couple of sliders that specify the width and height of your new tile. You can go ahead and specify all the way up to the entire board size, which means if you have a graphic that you have created that has the exact same aspect ratio or size of the HeroQuest board, you can now upload it to a website and have HQuestBuilder point to it, and you will use this brand new board that you have made. Everything else about this editor, the rooms, the doors, the monsters, you can have all of that overlay on your board, and you don't have to use any of the three options that are here. I mean, I guess you're technically using them, but they're like underneath everything. And you don't actually need the blank board to be able to do that. You can upload your room tiles on any of the board options. So this is really an amazing feature. You can use this with smaller tiles that are like 3x4 or 5x6, whatever. You do have to check that this is a background or room tile. That way the editor knows to place objects on top of it, such as doors, monsters, NPCs, treasure chests, whatever the case may be. But just to show you how I would use this, I'm putting the width to 22 tiles, I'm putting the height to 18 tiles, I'm going to check the background and room tile box, and I'm going to link directly to a board that I made and uploaded myself. We'll just paste the link directly, and it's not always going to be on the Imgur website for reasons that I might be able to explain a little later. I would not use Imgur if you can possibly help it. The short story is Imgur is going to be blocking access to UK users due to regulatory fines. I don't have all the details, but it's something you can read about. Don't use Imgur, just find a different image hosting service. Anyway, we'll create the tile, and now we'll select one of these bottom tiles and click my Homebrew tile. And now, as you can see, we have the Dragon Strike cave board right here in HQuestBuilder. We'll just go ahead and populate the beginning of our dungeon with our heroes. We can go ahead and throw down some furniture pieces like this desk with a book. Why is it in a cave? I don't know. You get to decide that. Or I guess I do, since I'm the one making the quest. Let's access against the Ogre Horde and put some goblins, archer goblins up here on this cliff area. The heroes are going to be assaulted by these archers, just as they would have been in the Dragon Strike. I mean, the totally coincidental, similar, not identical map that exists in Dragon Strike from way back in the day. Let's face that desk the correct way. We're going to go ahead and put an ogre here too, because why not? Open up Rise of the Dreadmoon, put a Magus Knight around the corner, guarding the end of a corridor, more goblins with arrows, treasure chests in the crevices. Of course, they'll be trapped. Doors that we will have at the exits that will close them basically, and we can go ahead and use all 5 of our closed door icons. These will be locked. The heroes aren't supposed to be leaving out these doors. They're supposed to find the stairwell so they can escape this deadly cave, or at least go down a dungeon floor. We're making all of this up on the fly. Zoom in just a little bit. Now on the screen, the way that things are rendering, it might look like there's a cutoff, like there's gaps in between the lines that make up the grids for this tile. Those might show up on your screen. They're not going to show up when you are sharing the quest or saving it as a PDF or what have you. They won't show up if you print this off either. It'll all be a clean grid. It's kind of it. Now we have a whole quadrant here full of orcs, a cabinet, and the quest is pretty fully fledged. We'll just plop down a couple more goblins. They're very ploppable. Another orc, 2 more orcs, 2 more goblins with arrows, symbols, archer goblins. Yeah, I can't stop myself. I gotta stop. I'm excited. We can now make our own quests. I will be sharing this board so that anybody can take this, upload it, use it, link to it, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's easy enough to make your own, and you can definitely make the other Dragon Strike boards, or Dragon Quest, or Dungeon Quest, whatever board you want to make. You're able to do that now. I didn't bring you here just to tease you with one Dragon Strike board, however. Now, it's very important that you do put the exact amount of tiles that the board actually is, so it knows how to size it on with the existing assets, because like if I want to go half of this and say this board that I'm about to import is 10 tiles by, I don't know, 6, 7 tiles, it's going to appear at half size and it just won't look right. But you could create multiple tiles by sizing them differently and just have them be those different sizes if you thought that it would be useful to your quest. I don't know, maybe you're using 1/72 scale miniatures and you want those smaller squares. You can do that now, by the way. You can create very small squared tiles and use them over this board. It would make your quest absolutely huge. We have a new tile now, and we'll go ahead and just delete the existing tile. You can see all of my monsters are still here, and we will go ahead and place the new tile, and there it is. That's my new tile. That is the Dragon Strike Castle tile, or at least it has the same configuration. There's no IP being robbed here. Same configuration of the Dragon Strike Castle tile. All of the squares are in the places that they would be. All of the kind of funky, janky adjacency of some of the squares has been addressed. Everything's been standardized for ease of use. If you have the Dragon Strike boards in real life, you'll be able to play whatever quest I decide to make with this. And I believe we can delete that and place it down here and rotate it. And we can place a second one right here, rotate it. And now we have an entire 2-board section. And yes, you'll see that they did bleed off of the edge. And I actually don't know if they'll render in the final document with any of the tiles bleeding off the edge. We're going to find out if that is the case. The title is Test, because I have stuff in the craziest places now, but I'm not even going to fix it. Quest author is Ash. As the narrative. The notes, it's just Murloc noises. The wandering monster is yourself. I didn't know about the grid reference, and we can toggle that on and off to show the grid reference. It looks like my boards are going to bleed off the southern edge of the default layout. So we're going to see what that looks like when we print preview. And it shows up. It just encroaches down into the quest notes, and it seems like it actually pushes the title down. So it's actually fine. I'm amazed. I could use 2 Dragon Strike boards, put them together, and have this entire epic quest for a slightly larger castle. The only problem with that is in real life, the Dragon Strike boards have a lot of flavor around the board itself. Like you've got your tracker for time and then the graphic of the Dragon Strike dragon. So, I mean, it might be a little bit more difficult to pull off in real life, having your boards together like this with no seam. I'm pretty sure there's going to be quite a noticeable seam, but we won't worry about that. I'm so happy about this update. There are so many cool things that you can do with this. Where's the button? Oh, we just had to click. Okay. We are basically able to do absolutely anything and everything with this tool now. In fact, I would say this is completely the de facto tool to use. It is the most accessible, and it now has the potential functionality of Hero Scribe. So HQuestBuilder is the new Hero Scribe. For a lot of people, this was already true. For some people, Hero Scribe is just something they're used to using, and that's fine. It is not nearly as accessible though, and with this enhanced functionality, there's not going to be a big reason to continue using Hero Scribe, particularly if you have the asset pack, the giant zip file of all the Hero Scribe boards and enemies and graphics that you could just use in this. I would say that there are really not many updates left to make this. The updates that we have now pretty much make this incredibly versatile. You can make maps for games that aren't HeroQuest as long as they pretty much can be explained, and all of the mechanics and everything are included in the notes and narrative portions or the wandering monster portion. Really don't have a lot of ideas to make this even more versatile. when it's supposed to be for HeroQuest to begin with. But no, with a quest like this, or with a tool like this, you can now put in your own altar quest maps. You can now put in your own Dungeon Saga Origins maps. You can make your own League of Dungeoneers quests. You can put together your own advanced HeroQuest quests. You can put together your own Warhammer quest. Any edition, any variety, as long as it'll fit within the confines of this. And honestly, with the spaces that extend outside of the board still rendering in the final output and in the printing, which I hope is not ever fixed, like that should just remain accessible. That should be a thing. Then I would say you can even create the larger Cursed City quests and so on, even if they extend beyond the boundaries of a typical HeroQuest board. And if they didn't, due to size, you could still import an image and just have it scaled down slightly so that it did fit within the confines of the HeroQuest rectangle. So, an incredible standing ovation to Squidge Monster for pulling this off and for making this the best map making tool. This is actually going to make the Quest Jam in 2026 something of epic proportions. What are you going to make with the new HQuestBuilder? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to continue suggesting whatever improvements you might think of. The only one that I could even begin to think of is allow us to replace the Wandering Monster text. So right here where it says Wandering Monster in this quest is, let me put in my own flavor text, because maybe I don't want a Wandering Monster. Maybe I want random treasure in this quest, or maybe I want every time you roll a 1 on the power die during the power phase, and then I'll give you the thing that happens. Or let me toggle the quest on and off with the checkbox, the text, not the quest. Let me untick a box, and then this text goes away, and then everything that I type in the Wandering Monster text is just the only thing that appears. Maybe that would be really cool. I don't know. If you want to see stuff like that, be sure to sound off. Let Squidge know. And if you have the means, support HQuestBuilder. October 4th, what a great day for HQuestBuilder fans. Oh, and by the way, thanks to the very talented artist Nicolas Bianco-Levrin, there are retro-styled icons for Jungles of Delthrak. I would actually like to show you those really quick. So we're going to switch over to the retro look, and then, oh, they look awesome. Here we have our spider. We have all of our spawnlings. We've got our giant serpent. We have our lovely NPCs, lovingly rendered in this awesome, highly nostalgic style, highly compatible with our classic editions and our classic quests. Oh man, I'm just so appreciative that these super talented folks are here helping make this tool even better. That's got to be hard to do at this point. Here's our treasure, our grasping vines, our bonfires, and all of the other things that we can make this versatile tile. Our rooms, this is a pretty important one. Giant spider webs, kept it simple like it should be. Our foliage tiles, our giant fly trap, outdoors, indoors, just a bang up job. Absolutely awesome to see this stuff. Again, keeping it simple for these highly detailed tiles. If you decide you don't prefer this style, you just switch back over to the new, and there everything is right there for you. Thanks so much for checking this out. Go show some love to Squidge Monster and HQuestBuilder, and I'll see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, brave heroes, onward, farewell for now.